just love touring and playing music, and that's basically it. I mean, even if I went to school right now, like, I don't know, this is just, I'm in my element when I'm on tour, you know, so that's just what I love doing.
You kind of feel like you're at that age where I can do it now. We have
like,
this thing going, you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to take it for granted, you know. I'm still young, you know, 24. I mean, I still think that's pretty young, you know. So,
Compared to me, yeah.
Just gonna try to, you know, just keep touring and take everything to the next level, and basically that's it.
I've seen a few good crowds. I mean,
I'd say some places have surprised us where we weren't really expecting, you know, a certain large crowd to come out where they did.
it just comes out of nowhere, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, dude, sick!
Yeah.
Sweet show."
So, you know, that's been surprising. And then places where we expected to do better, everyone did. Or just kind of, either fucked or mediocre, whatever it may be. Are we allowed to cuss? Probably not, huh? Are we allowed to cuss?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I think that's. Other than that, I mean, this has been, and Nick can tell you this, that the first tour we've done with a good death metal package, where every band's at least in a metal element, and that's kind of again like the first for the band. I think you could say, right? This is the most death metal tour the band has done. I don't know if you're in on this interview or not.
I mean, previously, like we're used to just doing like headlining tours with smaller support bands or whatever. So this has been like our first opportunity to be able to open up for bands that have been around for a good minute, or Devourment. They've been around since like '96 or whatever it was.
And playing to their fans that have maybe never even heard of us, and that's been happening. Kids coming up to us saying, "Oh man, I've never heard of your band before," and that didn't happen to us a whole lot.
That gets me stoked when kids.
I mean, it works both ways though too. Like we have our fan base that's typically younger. That's just kind of where we're a younger band as compared to Devourment and Cattle. So
Cattle was my
our fans are gaining exposure to them. So it works both ways. So it's been awesome. I mean. It's really hit or miss, just like anywhere else, honestly. I mean, when we were first coming up, we definitely had a big local following because that's kind of where we built our foundation, playing shows at Metal Devastation all the time. I mean, Jaw for a Cowboy came out of there, and Abigail Williams originated there. And so, I mean, we kind of got lucky in that respect, I guess, coming up, with those bands or whatever. And but I mean, I don't know. It's not really too much different than any other city, I guess you could say. So
Maybe it's just been random.
it's Phoenix. I mean, there's not really any venues like per se in Glendale. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'd say it's pretty. I mean, it's not good, but it's not bad. At the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
It was definitely better 3-4 years ago.
It was.
But you can almost say that about the whole country right now.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was better 3-4 years ago, but
it's hit or miss. I mean, who knows? Maybe there will be some newer bands popping out here soon.
Yeah.
But yeah. We definitely attracted new fans. We might have lost some fans, I mean, because of it. But I mean, at the end of the day, we just made a record that we wanted to make, and it's in the end the positive always outweighs the negative. So I mean, that's basically all I have to say there. So
I've ran into multiple kids too at shows. They're like, "Oh man, I love the new album," and then they tell you, "Sorry, I downloaded it," or whatever. Okay, it's cool you're here and you're coming up to me. If you enjoy what you saw tonight, please, when you get time or have money, go pick up a copy, and purchase it. I mean, but we want kids to get a hold of the new music any way they can, whether it be going on YouTube and listening to it, or to our MySpace. Any way that they can get a hold of it, the better.
At least they're supporting you by it.
Yeah, and then we want them coming out to the shows. I mean, that's what we're out here to do. We're not a band that releases an album and sits at home. We release an album, we tour. So we want kids coming out, hanging out with us, and doing our thing. I mean, I think I don't care. It wouldn't matter if you were doing it for 800 years or 8 minutes, well, not 8 minutes, but I mean, you do one tour.
Just getting that tour mode.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be the same all the way around for everyone. You know, somebody might have an easier tour. We had a rocky start at the beginning of this one, just with some tire blowouts and just, you know, some small stuff. Not small stuff, but whatever it may be. Or you could start it and it goes swimmingly, and it could be your first tour or your 80th tour, and you could still have something like that happen. So it doesn't matter where you're at in it, you know. I mean, you just got to make the best of it, really.
You always got to deal with road problems, man.
Yeah.
Flat tires.
No matter who you are.
Devourment hit a deer this morning. We had to help them out. That was interesting. We've never hit a deer, so.
Yeah, they cracked the radiator, so we pulled over and hung out with them all morning in some small little town in Nebraska. And,
Ate some breakfast. Got the cops called on us for ditching out on the tickets.
Accidentally, of course.
It was an accident, but
Right.
So many guys, you don't know who's picking the
the
tab.
whole that was like the whole city showed up when we, you know.
Yeah.
It's such a small town, and then all of a sudden,
Some kids making a ruckus, and they're all gonna. But the guys that helped Devourment out too, you know, with getting them back on the road, got them back on the road in a few hours.
Team effort.
Yeah, so it's, you know, I mean, they could have been in a worse position. We could have not been behind them, and they could have not been fortunate enough to meet some cool guys that, you know, were mechanics that were cool enough to help them out and not just, you know, give them the cold shoulder or whatever. So it's every day is really just a toss up. You never know. I know tonight we have a nice little drive through the mountains.
Salt
and
Lake
stuff.
City.
Probably hit some snow, maybe.
I think as long as you're out with guys that you like, that you have fun with, and other bands that you get along with, touring's easy in a sense.
It makes it that much.
Because we
fun.
could have the hardest tour ever, and at the end of that month, that last day, it's one of the most depressing days
Yeah.
when we're out on a tour with guys that we've had a lot of fun with, you know, because God knows when the next time you'll be able to see him again is, and you know, you basically hung out with each other all day for a month or so, and then, you know, poof, it's gone. So I think kind of going back to what Nick says, you know, the positive stuff outweighs the negative, you know, definitely.
Yeah, this tour I've been maintaining pretty well. I do warm-ups every night before I go on stage, and usually I try to get like a cup of tea or something after the show, but you know, for the most part, this has been an awesome tour for my voice. It's badass.
Yeah. His first tour, he had a couple of snags. Just getting sick, you know.
My first tour out, right before we left, I had strep throat on top of laryngitis. So my voice just like 2 shows in just blew. I mean, completely gone, and it sucked. But I mean, I just took a few days off and
back on the road.
Griffin did vocals.
And you know, since
Interesting
then,
time.
I just try to take care of myself, not get sick. So if I get sick, that's when I start getting problems, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when you start damaging yourself when you get sick.
Yeah, I mean, listen to me. I'm hoarse because I threw up a little bit, you know. So you gotta, you know, his throat.
You know,
Pace yourself.
well,
Yeah, you
and
gotta
there's
not do that.
there's definitely techniques now that will prevent you from just being a jackass and screaming wrong and blowing your fucking voice out and being fucked. That sucks. I'd say perseverance for us, man.
Yeah, we weren't like intentionally striving to stick out by any means. We just kind of did our thing and just stuck with it, and I don't know, just practice and fucking, like he said, perseverance, just touring.
We've gone through a lot in the last, you know.
Work your ass off, fucking, you know.
Any band would throw in the towel.
You got to make some sacrifices sometimes, and that's just how shit works, you know.
Yeah.
But
Anything that's
eventually
worth
it pays off.
Yeah,
so.
anything that's worth it, you're gonna, you know, maybe take a risk or make a sacrifice to make it, you know, have the ends justify the means or whatever, you know. But yeah, perseverance. I like that word, Logan. After all the stuff we've been going through, and you know, we've seen bands go through plenty of stuff on the road. Not saying our situation's any more different or, you know, tragic or whatever it may be, but.
There's bands out there though that like would go through the shit that we've gone through and just say fuck it, go
at
home.
At
You
home.
know, but we fucking
Yeah, like,
I mean, overdrafted our cards, you know, borrowed money from parents, and just
Yeah, any
all
kid that's
kinds of
ungrateful that comes out know that
Yeah.
we've literally put our whole lives and the future of our lives.
Like we had our
into
whole
this band.
couple years, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had our whole trailer stolen with all our gear and merchandise as well. Like it was probably like, I don't know, $20,000 worth of shit. And that was right before our first U.S. tour, actually. But we just didn't want to give up and
love this song.
just bought a bunch of used gear and shit and kept at it. I don't know. We could have easily given up at that point, I'm sure, you know. But
Most bands probably would have.
yeah, I mean, just stuck with it.
But that's,
I don't know.
that's what separates you from the pack. That
Yep.
might be one thing is just keep on pushing. And there's a lot of stuff that kids don't see. They see us at the show for a couple hours, or if even that, 30 minutes on stage. They don't see the other 23 and a half hours that we're out there doing our thing, And, it's just fun to go out here and, again, go out with these guys. And when you can go through something like that and then get through it, to be able to look back and go, we did it. We did our thing, and we did it our way, and
Shit, I gotta go, man.
this is their last song. He's gonna bail out right now because he's gonna go warm up. I mean, we've touched on it. Right now, we're really focused on just trying to tour on this
of
bad boy
course.
and not get ahead of ourselves. But
It doesn't hurt.
yeah, we would be
Toss
lying
around
if we said we
ideas
haven't talked about it.
Yep.
I think we definitely want to expand on what we did with Calling Wolves. I think there's room. There's even more room.
Step it up musically and just challenge
yeah,
ourselves
I mean,
as musicians.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think if you look at the records and, me being a new member, it'd be maybe an outside view, but I think musically with what they did with Juggernaut to Shades and what we did with Calling Wolves, the band's took in that kind of step every time, and hopefully we can just make just as, just as big as a step, I mean, I think that's every band's goal too, to just do it. You want to do a better record, to say you didn't, it would be weird,
Yeah.
So.
Let's just make the same.
Yeah, let's make this one
let's make
shittier.
Juggernaut over and over.
Yeah, and you could do that safe route, and just do the record that everybody wants to hear and just cookie cutter over and over and keep re-releasing it. But I think as musicians, you grow. I mean, God, I almost don't even want to say for sure what the next album would sound like, because God knows what state we'll be in when we're doing it.
Just gotta wait and see until you get in there.
Yeah,
See
really.
what you come up with.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the talks that I've been hearing, Nick and Brian have about new material, they're already trying to expand on ideas, and where can we take this? So I think just the talk right there, initiating, where can we expand on things, is going to lead, God knows where that can lead,
I'm sure every band does this, like, I don't know, sometimes, like, even our new record, like, after you hear it, like, over and over, just from, like, oh, that's awesome, like, this... But eventually, like, you play it over and over, you're like, oh, man, I wish I would have done this here, or, like, what could I have done differently, That's just kind of, like,
You always hear a band say that, I wish
the attitude we take,
Yeah.
You're
As
always
an
going to be
artist,
your own worst critic,
Yeah,
so...
as an artist, you're your own worst critic. Definitely.
All right, guys, I won't keep you too much longer. I know you're coming up soon.
Yep.
Yep.
Have a good rest of the tour.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for taking time
Yeah,
again.
of course.
Definitely.
Pleasure.
All right.
Thanks, man.